Right, okay. So there we have our first dashboard area. We've got our donuts telling us about on-time deliveries and how many of those were returned. And that's great. And we know that if we change the data in the base data table, that will impact this dashboard and it will change. So it's linked. It's dynamically linked. But really, what we want to do is slice and dice and filter on the fly. We want to be able to manipulate the data in real time. So how do we do that? We use the slicer option. And it's great. This is that we were making use of an inbuilt Excel function to help us with our interactivity. And yeah, it is a fantastic thing. All right, so how do we do it? I'm going to click on that first donut there, and then I'm going to click on Pivot Chart Analyze, and then here we have Insert Slicer. Okay, click on that, and we can choose one or more different slicers to play with, so we can manipulate the view of our data based on a number of these different of these columns. So let's look at, say, well, product would be nice, state, and let's look at customer acquisition type. Okay, and we'll see how that works. I'm going to click OK, and you'll see these guys appear here. All right, so now let's look first at product. All right, now you'll notice that in product it's got these sort of, we've got product 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's got these grayed out products there. So they're products which don't actually fit in our, there's no data which exists for them in this current filter. So a good thing to do is to right click and choose slicer settings, hide items with no data. Okay, and then click OK, and then they just disappear. All right, so it's always nice. You don't really want to see options for data which isn't part of your you know, the selection that's available. So here we go. So we've got customer acquisition, product, and state. So what we can do is, I mean, obviously they're just sort of freestanding there at the moment, but just to show you what can happen, see, look, we're clicking on there, and the delivery is changing depending on combinations of different slices. So product 2, organic, Mississippi, 73% were on time. However, the same product through organic organic customer acquisition in Alabama was 67. So we're playing around with these different filters and different criteria. Now, what you might notice is that this is not changing returned. We have to fix that. How do we fix that? It's something called report connections. So I'm going to go into this slicer, right click on the slicer, click on report connections, and just make sure all of these pivot tables are connected. All right, I'll do the same here. It's just a thing we have to do. Click OK, right click, and then right click on products. And we're going to have to do this again when we've finally populated our full dashboard. But for the time being, just for this example, that's how you do it. So then when we look at it now, you'll see that we're now fully linked up. Okay. We can also use these sort of multi-selection buttons. Thank you, Excel, for that. Also, to play around if we want to look at Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi for products 1 and 2. And we can say for, I don't know, organic and returning. See? Oops, let's just move that up and make that multi. Don't worry, I'll show you how to see. This is the multi-level. So there we go. So you can now slice and dice according to these different criteria. What we're going to do in another video is we're going to look at time. We're going to look at years, and months and things like that, and how we can slice and dice from a temporal perspective. But we'll do that in a moment. At the moment, we're just looking at this as a snapshot of the of things across the whole timeline. Now, I'm just going to click on those buttons there, the little stop filter buttons, the little clear filter buttons there, and it goes back to the default setting here, 67 and 10%. So that's everything. Now, what we can do also, we want to position these so they're a little bit nicer to play with. So what I'm going to do is, if you click on the slicer and then move up to slicer here, you can actually increase the column size like that. See? So I can make them, instead of, there we go, I can do that like so. And this is entirely up to you. Product, let's see what we can do with that. We can maybe make that 3 columns and then just make that a little bit bigger. Okay. That makes a little bit more space. And then state as well, we can move that, make that 3 as well, I guess. You can play around with this, and also that, you know, the color and everything like that. But you just want to make it so it's like that. Okay. And then we have to a little bit nicer to play with now. Again, I just need, you know, see, all interactive. All right. Okay, right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to populate the rest of the dashboard. Alrighty, and then we're going to link it all together, and it's all going to be a beautiful thing to behold. Okay, goodbye, farewell.